it's really important in this job to listen. When you get elected, you've been elected because you've been out there talking to people in the community, listening to the community, and really charting your vision for where you want and where you see the city going and where you want to take it. But it's also really important to listen, because there are those who may not have engaged in the electoral process, but who truly care about this community and have something to say and have a lot of wisdom. And when you think about our intentionally redlined neighborhoods, places that really felt disenfranchised, I've worked really hard to ensure that we're lifting up those voices and that we're responding to that, and that we have a government that recognizes that we have to focus on the infrastructure in every neighborhood, that we have to focus on making sure that there are services available in every neighborhood. But that came out of listening to the voices of individuals who maybe felt as though their voice wasn't being heard. And so listening is really, to me, the most important part of this job. I moved here after college for a job in 1987. I worked in communications for a while. I actually produced a television real estate show before HGTV. And then I decided to go to law school. And by that time, I had lived here for 5 years. I loved Albany. I wanted to stay, and so I went to Albany Law School. I graduated in 1994. I worked for a law firm here. Then I worked for a local manufacturer of MRI magnets. It was a public company. Really great opportunity. I learned a ton, and then after that company was bought by a bigger company that I thought was too bureaucratic, and then decided to run for office. And so it was actually people who approached me after I had left my corporate career. Some folks approached me and they said, "We really want you to run for city treasurer. We think it's an important job. We think with your background and your experience with a public company, understanding checks and balances and the importance of understanding where the money is going and how we are thinking about our finances and our fiscal future." And so I was asked, and I initially said no. I couldn't imagine running for elected office. I was one of those folks that loved to volunteer, but I didn't see myself as the elected official. But ultimately, after talking about it with my husband, I decided to run, and I ran and I won. And in the role as city treasurer, I really started to see things that I thought I could bring to the mayor's office. And I was fairly certain that Mayor Jennings wasn't going to run for I think it would have been a 6th term. And so in looking at that, I thought, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring. But I started by sitting down with people in their living rooms and asking them to invite in their neighbors and friends to talk about the city of Albany, to talk about what they loved about it, to talk about the things that they thought needed to change, so that I could discern whether I had the leadership skills and the experience that would help to move the city in that direction. And so after that process, I ultimately decided I'm going to run. And I ran, and here I am. I've lived in a lot of different places. And when I came to Albany, I could not believe how beautiful it was, the architecture, the history, the people. I really felt that this was a community that I could give back to. And it was big enough that there were a lot of great things to do. You have, and when I think of Albany, I think of the entire region, but you have the Cap Rep right here in Albany, Palace Theater. We also have Proctor's. We're in close proximity to some of the most beautiful places in the entire country, the Adirondacks, the Catskills, the Berkshires. And yet it's a small enough place that you feel like you can really have an impact. And I think of all of the opportunities that I've had in Albany, and they've happened because people were kind enough to mentor me, to take the time to really care about who I was and what I wanted to accomplish with myself and my career and in my opportunities to give back to the community. And all of that happened right here. I can't imagine living anywhere else. I love this city. And I don't know that people necessarily appreciate what a special place this is, because I've been in other places, I've seen other places, and there's something unique about Albany. You can have an outsized impact here, and it's something that's really special. When you're the mayor of the city of Albany, it's like being the mother of several children. You cannot have your favorite. And I always fear that I'll leave somebody out. But let me start in my neighborhood. I live downtown, and I famously don't really enjoy cooking that much. Maybe when I retire, I'll enjoy it more. And so I look at DPs and Yonos that, they provide us many meals. It's a great restaurant. We really like it there. But I think, walking distance from my house, there's, the Old English. There's the Ama Casino. There's the Hollow. Just went to my birthday lunch at the Hollow recently. So, all of these great places downtown, and they all have their own vibe. McGeary's, obviously, a neighborhood favorite. I could go on. And then you go into the Warehouse District, where you have everything from pub fare to the Copper Crow, which I think makes a great dinner. Then I got to go to Lark Street. You really, it's the number of places that you can go to and the variety of the food that we have. Central Avenue, I defy you to find a cuisine that you can't find on Central Avenue. And so we're really blessed, I think, with great restaurants. And the thing that I love about it is that they're locally owned. These are owned by people who care about the city of Albany. They've invested in the city of Albany. They may have locations in the region, other locations in the region, but they're hyper local. And so they care about our schools. They care about, and they sponsor things like our holiday tree lighting, Tulip Festival. These are the businesses that we can count on over and over again to support our community. And that's the other great thing about that whole restaurant scene in the city of Albany. Look, the thing that I like about Albany is that I think it does have something for everyone. When you think about what's happening at Empire Live, what's happening at the Palace, what's happening at Cap Rep, what's happening with all of the amazing restaurants, the MVP Arena, there are lots and lots of things to do in the city of Albany. And we always want to do more. And so what I would say to somebody, if there's something missing, come talk to us. Let's find a way to bring it to our community and be partners with ensuring that we have those places and spaces and fun things for people to do in the city of Albany. I'm looking forward to hopefully having a legacy of bringing professional soccer to downtown Albany. A professional soccer stadium, another 1,000 units of market rate housing in downtown. These are the things that we're doing. And the other piece of this that's really important is that we have to build it, because there's an additional $1.8 billion being invested at Global Foundries. There's more than $1 billion being invested at UAlbany for the National Semiconductor Technology Center. That is going to bring companies from all over the world here. And so here in the city of Albany, our opportunity, because we're a residential city, is we've got to build the places for people to live. And we have to build that next scale, that next level of entertainment venues, so that we can capture those businesses and that they're going to want to locate here. And so it's much more than the city of Albany. That's why I'm working with the president of RPI as well as the president of UAlbany, because it's about so much more than just the city of Albany. We've got to get ready. There are incredible things happening here, and the next mayor is going to need to continue that momentum to make sure that we're building the places and spaces and venues that people are going to want, because this area is going to continue to grow. I'm so optimistic about our future. And when you look at the investments that Governor Hochul has made, that President Biden has made, this is an exciting opportunity for the future of this entire region. So strap on your seatbelts, because I feel like we are moving in the right direction, and we're going to go full speed ahead. The improvements that I've seen across the city are really tremendous. We have a workforce that cares. They care about the city, they care about the community, they care about how they do their jobs. And I've really tried to build a culture where I demand that if I'm asking you to do something, I need to know that you have the resources that you need to do it. So it has to be a two-way communication. I can't just sit in this office and say, I want XYZ done, without giving the folks that I'm expecting to execute on that the tools that they need to be successful. And so I partner alongside our commissioners to say, what organizational structure do you need? What do I need to be advocating for at the state or the federal level if there are barriers to what it is that we're trying to accomplish. And so we now have a workforce that I think really does look at what is possible. And so we've paved more streets. We have invested hundreds of millions of dollars in our water and sewer infrastructure. You talk about getting ready for the future. We can't have growth if we don't have the basics. So we have to have the water and sewer infrastructure that can support growth and industry. And so we've made those investments. We've made investments to clean the Hudson River. We've solved a centuries-old problem of raw sewage going untreated into the Hudson River. It's something nobody can see, but it sure as heck is important as we think about reimagining 787. Nobody's going to want to live next to a polluted river, so we've got to clean the river. And when we reimagine 787, and as that is iterated and finalized, and then the funding put in place to make those changes, if we're going to bring ourselves closer to the river, we want it to be a clean river. Well, we've done that. You know, people don't believe me when I say this, but I have not made any plans, and I don't make any plans to make plans. I'm really focused on this next year. It's really important. I can't check out. I've invested too much. This workforce has invested too much. They believe in where we're going, and so it's really important for me to stay engaged and continue to make sure that we have the resources that we need in order to get everything accomplished. And that's going to take a lot of focus and a lot of work. And so that's where I have focused my energies right now. And I've always been a believer, you know, when young people fret about the future, they want to know, well, what job do I need to take now so that I can have this job 10 years from now? In my experience, it's not how life works. When you work really hard, opportunity presents itself. And I've worked really hard. And so I believe that opportunity will present itself. I don't know what that will be, but I really want to stay focused on this final year in office. Too many people have worked too hard to get us to where we are for me to be focused on going somewhere else or doing something else. I'm going to really be focused on what it is that we're going to accomplish in 2025, because it's really exciting. This job is one that has so many components to it and so many facets to it, and people have expectations, and I have high expectations of myself and of the people who work for the city. And one of the things that I think is really important for people to know is that we do care. And even though there are times when people might get frustrated because of a pothole or because of an overgrown lot, we never stake a claim to perfection. I'll never stake a claim to perfection, but I care. And the people who work for this city overwhelmingly care. And if we can work together and look at one another as neighbors, as people who do care about this community, there's so much more that we can accomplish together. And so I think that's the one thing that I think is just so important. We do this job because we care and we want to get it right. And so if there are problems or challenges, come to us in the spirit of you're coming to people who care and want to also work with you to make this community the place that everyone wants to be proud of and everyone can be proud of.